Here are 5 simple rules of business that will make you rich. Number 1, you will unlock unlimited growth the day that you master the theory of constraints. The theory of constraints is, the first time I came across this idea was in a book called The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. I recommend it for everybody. It's written in the form of a parable and talks about this concept, which is that the chain is only ever as strong as its weakest link, or that the flow through a system will only ever match the tightest constraint. And so the game of business is nothing more than the systematic process of identifying and then eliminating the current constraint in the system. And the reason that we don't grow at the rate that we want to in our businesses is often because we're solving things out of sequence. Sequence is speed. And so if I sit here, let's just talk about business at a very high level and say that there's you have marketing, which is we have to make people aware that we exist. We have sales, which is that we have to convert those people who know that we exist into paying customers. We have a product we have to deliver, right? And then we have customer service that needs to keep them in the ecosystem, keep them coming back and buying more and increasing their lifetime value, right? We can just simplify it and say those are the 4 core functions, right? Now, if you don't have, let's say you have a ton of flow on the marketing side, you have a ton of people aware that you exist. You aren't really getting a lot of people to buy though, and the product that you're delivering, you have plenty of people on your team to deliver the product. They're sitting around, they don't have anything to do. Let's take the example of like a landscaping company, right? The landscaping company, they're getting hundreds of leads every single day. They're closing maybe 5 of those, and they have the work capacity to go and fulfill, let's say 20 orders a day or 20 different jobs a day. The constraint in that very simple system between market, sales, delivery is sales. They're only selling 5 a day. If they have 100 leads coming in, only 5 sales, but they have the capacity to deliver 20, sales is the constraint. And this is very obvious, right? Like when I say it this way, this is very like, duh. The problem is business is never quite so cut and dry and so clear as when you're looking at it from this high level. And so what a lot of people will do is they will focus on fixing the wrong part of the equation. They'll focus, for whatever reason, they're like, I think I have a people problem, a product problem. I need to work on my systems over here. And it's like, you could work on people all day long, but until you solve the constraint, which is sales, you will never take those 100 leads and push them through to get to that 20 capacity that the team has. And so identifying which one of those is the constraint and then unlocking it, that's the secret to realizing tons of growth just instantly. All right. Second idea that is going to help you make a lot of money in your business is that failure is almost never fatal. Failure is almost never fatal. It feels like it sometimes. It feels really terrible when a customer comes back and they're really upset with us, or somebody leaves and the team, and now we're shorthanded and we don't know who's going to do the fulfillment. Hey, pause real quick. Can we block that light? Yeah, that's killing me. But the truth is that 99% of the failures you're going to experience in a business are never fatal. They're a speed bump along the road, and they're painful and it sucks, but it's not necessarily going to ruin the business. Now, one of the lessons I learned the hard way, when we were building Escape Climbing, we would talk about this all the time, that we want to fail our way towards success, that we fail fast. And that's just part of the path of mastery, right? Pursuing improvement means that we're going to take some wrong turns occasionally. But no matter how much I would talk about this with the team, there was still this resistance to the idea of making mistakes. And I couldn't figure it out until one day I sat down with my shipping manager, and she was explaining that she understood it conceptually, but that she was so worried about making a mistake that was going to destroy the company, that was going to lead us to crash into the ground and into catastrophic doom, right? And I realized in that moment that what she needed and what your employees need is they need to know that failing is a safe thing, that they're failing within a system, that it's allowed, and that it's not going to lead to some catastrophic downstream consequence. And so what I told her was, oh, listen, any decision, any role, anything that you have on your plate right now, I've given to you because I believe it's okay to fail at that. The things that I don't think are okay for you to fail at, I don't give to you, right? The things that could risk the company, that could risk the business, those really big screw ups, those are my responsibility. Those are the decisions I have to make. Right? And so by default, if I ever give you something, if it's on your plate, it means that I don't believe that can destroy the company one way or the other. Yes, if you do it wrong for a long enough period of time, it will. But there's no single decision that you can make that will destroy the business. Only I get to make those decisions, right? And she goes, oh, that's really helpful. I'm like, yeah. So if I give you something, just know, like, it's okay if you fail at it. We can fix it. Like, I'm not saying we could fail at it for like 12 months straight. That would be bad. At a certain point, I need to take it back and realize if we keep doing this, it is going to kill the company, right? But there is no single decision that you can make in this moment or single activity that you could fail at that will ruin the business. And that just gave the team a lot of mental space to finally go forward and start failing at things and systematically improving the company. So, number 3. System design is often just a form of productive procrastination. A lot of times we focus on the fancy softwares like the Notion dashboards and the Asana Trello boards and all this stuff because we think we need to have this really beautiful complex system. But my experience is that complex systems obscure true effectiveness. The more complicated a system is and the harder it is to describe to somebody what the steps are in it, the more likely it is to fail because each one of those points of communication, those nodes, becomes a potential point of failure. So the simplest systems are typically the most robust because they have the fewest number of areas that they can go wrong. And so I encourage you, yes, systems are important. I'm a big proponent of that, but recognize when you are over designing a system just for the sake of feeling productive. Because realize that building the system is not the same as executing the system. And if you're spending more time building systems than you are executing the systems, then you will not grow. And that is the trap that a lot of us get into, especially as we start to hire teams, is we fixate more on building systems and less time doing the work, and then we stop growing. It's like, why am I not growing anymore? Well, you're not actually executing the system. So stop working so much on the business and work in the business occasionally. I know, it sounds crazy. But number 4, if you master leverage, you can move mountains. So there's 4 forms of leverage in particular that are useful when it comes to building a business and making money. That is labor leverage, which is your ability to recruit people and their time and their energy to work in collaboration with you towards your goals. You have capital leverage, which is the ability to recruit and use capital or money to go and finance opportunities or to buy resources and things that can give you more. You have technology, or code, which is the ability to use a piece of software that the marginal use of replication is practically zero. So I have a tool that I can use and then it distributes it out to the world for me thousands of times at no marginal cost. So it's a more advanced form of a tool, right? And honestly, technology is really just a matter of how sophisticated you are in relation to it. There was a time that the spoon was considered an advanced form of technology. Think about that. The first caveman who was sitting there eating soup with his hands, he's like sitting there with a Chef Boyardee and he's like, God damn, eating with my hands, this sucks, right? And he sees another guy use a stick and he's like, that's much better than using my hands, right? And then he sees another guy over there who's figured out if I take the stick and I make a little hole or like a little divot in it, I can get even more soup in it. Boom. Now I have a spoon. We think that's some pretty great technology right there. So everything is a form of technology. It's just a matter of how sophisticated you are in relation to it. Anyways, that's a side quest. 4th form of leverage is media. Specifically social media, the internet content. The ability to create a piece of content that can be distributed and seen millions of times, piece of content like this, that can then drive people back into your business, make them aware of what you do, make them want to work with you. Like you figure that out, you're going to have all the growth you could ever want in your business. I promise. Number 5. This is this one took me a long time to learn. If you want to get rich, it's not just about the money. It's not just about making money. This 5th one is all about you need to take pride in everything that you do. Because in my experience, how you make your money matters a whole lot more than how much money you make. If you make millions of dollars, but in pursuit of that, you had to step on all these people, you had to destroy relationships, you had to sell something that you didn't really believe in, then you're selling the most valuable thing of all, which is your self-respect. And that, in my estimation, is not a recipe for becoming rich. That you'll have a lot of money. Like there's no man more poor than the one who all he has is money, right? And so when I say that these rules of business will help you become rich, recognize that that's not just talking about money here. That is talking about the most important thing, which is the reputation you have with yourself. And if you're selling something that you're not proud of, then you need to change that. You need to get in there and fix that, stop selling that, or make it something that you can be proud of. Because at the end of the day, your reputation is not something that you take decades to build it, takes seconds to destroy it. for other people. But for you, man, if you destroy the reputation you have with yourself, like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. I know plenty of millionaires, and I know some billionaires actually who are like just absolutely unhappy with their life because of what it costs them to get to where they are. Don't make that mistake. Last, but not actually, those were the 5, but I'm going to give you a bonus here because I have it written down here. In the games worth winning in this life, the games where there is no winner or loser, the goal isn't just to win. It's an infinite game where the goal of the game is to continue playing as well and as for long as you possibly can. Games of relationships, right? You don't win marriage. The game of business, you don't win business, right? The games of friendship, you don't win friendship. And those infinite games of life where your goal is just to play it for as long and as well as possible, there is no winning and there is no losing. And in that dynamic, you can't win unless you start, and you can't lose unless you stop. And business is no different in my mind. You can't win if you don't get in and you don't start something. You don't try and you start selling it to people. And you can't lose if you just keep doing it for long enough. You haven't lost yet. You just haven't succeeded quite yet, right? So keep these 5 and this bonus rule in mind as you're out there building your business. And I promise you, you will get rich if that's your goal. If it's not, well, I don't know. You just sat through a really long podcast video for nothing, but I appreciate it. Make sure that you hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.